G'day, good morning, good evening, hello. You're here, you made it, welcome. It is round of 16 in New York, and it is Alex de Minaur, the 13th seed, the Australian. He is playing and currently warming up against, he's on court with Daniil Medvedev, the 3rd seed from Russia. This match getting underway a little bit later than scheduled. It was scheduled for not before 4 p.m. Local time in New York. It's currently 6:30 in New York, 28 degrees, passing clouds, perfect weather for Grand Slam tennis there in New York. And thanks for joining us for this live match play, point-by-point coverage, audio only, radio style coverage. It's this Australian Open Live produced by Wise Words Media. We are live in Melbourne, Australia, living vicariously through the browser, watching proceedings, and we're pretty keen and excited to see how Alex goes in this match, because he's got a lot to prove to himself. As he said, he wants to be getting into deep into the second week of Grand Slams, and he wants to be getting in, not just getting traction in the top 10. He wants to be a permanent fixture there, and this match is his moment of truth, where the 24-year-old Australian really wants to be making a mark. And he's got form against Daniil Medvedev. He has defeated Medvedev in their previous 2 meetings this year in 2023. So the players are warming up. Boil the kettle, get yourself a cold one, open the packet of chips, or have your breakfast and settle in, because we're going to be here for the duration of the match. So don't go away. We'll be right back. G'day, welcome back to this Australian Open Live, and play is underway with Medvedev. First serve around 116 miles per hour, second serve about 100 miles per hour. Neither player yet to win the first point of the match, and that gives us a chance to settle in. And the first point goes to de Minaur. The Demon is off and running, winning, taking the first point of the match off the serve of Medvedev, and that was just a lazy old winner for de Minaur. Nothing too fancy there, and gives up the next point. So it's 15 all, 121 miles per hour, that serve from Medvedev. The first serve going in, winning that point. And you can see for yourself in the chat there, we've got a lot of information in there for you to help you get up to speed with both of these players. We've got to admit to a little bit of bias today. The Australian, we were thrilled to see 2 Australian men in the men's singles, the round of 16 this year at the US Open. Unfortunately, Rinky Hijikata losing this time yesterday to Francis Tiafoe. Is it Tiafoe or Tiafoe? The American 10th seed, playing on his home court in front of his home crowd, his home Grand Slam. Well, you've got to give the guy credit for ticking all the boxes and just getting the job done in straight sets there against Hijikata. De Minaur, he reached the semi-finals last year of the US Open for the first time. It's his second crack at a quarter-final in New York, and he's got the chops. He's got the chops to beat Medvedev, but not in the opening game. Medvedev wins that basically they haven't got the momentum stats here. Let's just refresh the screen. You can, we've put a lot of info in the chat. If you want to follow this match live yourself, you're more than welcome to do that because it's point by point and all the stats are there. But if you want to just sit back and take it easy and just pretend you're listening to the radio, well, don't pretend, because that's exactly what we're doing, audio-only radio-style coverage at this Australian Open Live. And we're currently on serve. Alex de Minaur serving for the first time in the match. He lost that with a forehand forced error. He lost the opening service game on Medvedev's serve, and he's opening up his shoulders at 108 miles per hour in the second minute of the match. His first serve, and he wins that with a forehand volley winner. He is straight into the net already. Surprise, surprise. He's on the front foot. Serve and volley, a very Australian, it's part of our DNA as in Australian tennis. The serve and volley. And he's straight away, he's going to put this guy on notice, Medvedev. And he did say before the match, Alex de Minaur, he said it's going to be like a chess match, this match. And head-to-head, these guys, it is 4-2 in the Russians' favour at the moment, as that unforced error on the backhand. Alex, you don't want to be giving away points in your round of 16 match. You got a lot ahead of you to get this title under your belt in New York. But that was the downfall yesterday of Rinky Hijikata. Actually, too many unforced errors on the forehand, and the backhand did him in. And unfortunately for Rinky, that was just something he just couldn't rectify. Although he was coming good towards the end, unfortunately. But Alex de Minaur, he is now, where is he? 15 all on 127 miles per hour, that serve from de Minaur. We're settled in here for the duration of this match at this Australian Open Life. Other commitments notwithstanding, of course. So let's just straighten up a bit and just get the lay of the land as it stands at the moment. And we'll just bring up the full screen there for you of this match. And for some reason, we are able to bring you the complete live screen there for this match. And we haven't been able to do this throughout the US Open, but for some reason today we can now bring you the live stats on your screen. So don't fret if you're worried that for some reason or other we're going to be keeping you from keeping track of these scores. Just adjusting this here. And you can see for yourself the score live there while we rabbit away in the background. So we'll just stay here. And while we're watching de Minaur go to a 40-15 lead in the first service game of the first set for this men's singles fourth round of 16 match, de Minaur should close this out, although he just made a forehand forced error, unfortunately. And goes through. He's lost another point with a backhand forced error. So hopefully de Minaur will just stick with this throughout this game and get him over the line before we switch gears a bit. But he's already made a couple of errors, forced and unforced, on both backhand and forehand so far, Alex de Minaur. And he'll be wanting to get through this first service game just to settle down the nerves. These two guys, Medvedev, well known to tennis fans worldwide. De Minaur, not too sure how well known he's around the world. Tennis fans around the world will be very familiar with his game, no doubt. But to the general public, de Minaur is still a reasonably fresh face on the scene, and he's in a little bit of trouble here already on serve because he's committed 3 errors in a row in this match, in this first service game, and he's going to deuce already. So he did well to put Medvedev on notice in the first service game, but with his own first service game on his racket, he's already at deuce. So Medvedev, he's no slouch with a racket, the number 3 seed, and he'll have a little bit of a grudge. He'll have a little bit of a grudge going into this match, having lost his last 2 matches to the Demon. Yesterday we did go through a profile of Alex de Minaur as part of our Player Watch. That's our spotlight series at this Australian Open Life. We like profiling the lesser known players off Broadway, but we couldn't resist doing a couple of presentations in successive days as de Minaur drags it back to advantage on his serve with a backhand volley winner. So he's been to the net twice already in these first 2 games, and it looks like Alex de Minaur is planning a strategy that's going to keep Medvedev very honest and keep him to the back of the court and getting the ascendancy there at the net. And he's serving at around about 86 miles per hour on this second serve. Quite slow for this level for these chaps. And that ball in play, and Medvedev loses that game with a backhand volley unforced error. So he's also experimenting already with going into the net. So let's just switch gears a bit and every time you hear that stinger, we're just changing gears a bit. So there's a lot of... we've tried to bring you up to speed with the background of these players. In the chat, we've dumped in a lot of pre-game info for you. And let's just go through that. It is a very humid day in New York at 6:42 in the evening, and the weather at 28 degrees. Tomorrow it's going to be 30 with cloud, and Wednesday in New York 33 also with cloud, but more sun than cloud. And Alex de Minaur's got a new firepower. He was ruthless getting through his 3rd round match to book this spot in the round of 16. He says you always take a drama-free match. And that's what he was saying going into the 3rd round. And he took less than 90 minutes to advance to the 3rd round of Flushing Meadow. He beat China's Yibing Wu. And some of the other info we've got there for you in the chat. The head-to-head, a link to the ATP Tour website. The head-to-head between these 2 blokes. We've got a link to Alex de Minaur's bio. And all the details about this match taking place on Louis Armstrong Stadium in the Billie Jean King National Tennis Centre at Flushing Meadow. What a mouthful. And also, of course, we've got in the chat the link to this match as it's unfolding live. You can track along with us. And if you see any stats popping up, or if you see anything interesting as this match clocks along, let us know if you missed something. Join us in the chat, join the conversation, please. We're sick of hearing our own voice, and it's only going to cost you 60 seconds. That's as long as you need to wait once you become a subscriber. You can't join the chat unless you're a subscriber, and it's only you only have to wait for 60 seconds. So join the conversation in the chat. In fact, even better, please start a conversation. We don't claim to be the experts here. In fact, we're just a conduit to build around this match. We want to build a conversation, and we love learning off our audience. Some of the feedback and the questions often that we get turn into points that we ruminate on, and they're in the back of our head, and we end up researching that as a topic and presenting that later on for everybody's benefit. So currently we are in the third game. Medvedev it's a change of ends actually. They still haven't come out to play. Both players have tried in these first two games. Both players have experimented coming to the net. I'm not too sure from Medvedev's point of view. Net play, points won at the net isn't common for a lot of players. Serve volley is pretty much an Australian characteristic for men and women on the professional tour, as it's been quite a lengthy break here, about 4 minutes, so not too sure what that's about. If you know why they're having a break, if you're watching this live at the moment, we're not Wise Words Media, producer of this Australian Open Live. We punch above our weight, but unfortunately the punches that we throw cannot land a blow in terms of the broadcast rights for the Grand Slams, and that's why we appreciate any donation. You can find the link to our PayPal if you want to donate us a coffee or donate us a ground pass towards next year's Australian Open at Melbourne Park. We'll gratefully accept that, because anything we receive as a donation through our PayPal, the link is there on our platform. We'll put that towards next year's coverage. We've got some big plans, and you can't achieve anything without big dreams, and that's what we've got for next year in terms of we're looking at, we've got a concept going around a live outdoor broadcast to more than, we'd like to get ourselves in front of 1.4 billion smart TV screens around the world, and we want to be on them. That's through the over-the-top streaming sector, but more about that later on. So it looks like an extended break here in play. We will take a short break. Don't go away. We'll be right back. And we'll just interrupt ourselves there because we fell for the old trick. The browser wasn't refreshing automatically. So that's going to happen time to time where it catches us out, and you can see for yourselves that Alex de Minaur is now trailing 1-2. 1-2 and in the first set, and the game's been going, this match, about 15 minutes, and de Minaur, they're on another change of ends, and de Minaur, when play resumes, they will come out, and de Minaur will be serving the fourth game, the second set. It doesn't happen all the time, and it's the last thing I think of when I think that there's a break in play, an extended break of play. It's just merely the browser for the US Open website. It's always updating, but sometimes it's just a little bit tricky and cheeky, and it caught me out on that occasion. So we'll just switch gears a bit to let you know. Late yesterday, we did a player watch profile on Alex de Minaur. We don't usually profile the top players at this Australian Open Life. We like to learn about the players that are a little bit or a lot off Broadway. They might be the battlers who are trying to get around the Challenger Tour and build up their rankings points so that they can get direct entry into the main draw of the Grand Slam. And if they can get into the top 30 or top 40 in the world, they're going to be seeded, which gives them a better chance as Medvedev wins the first point off with a off the serve, the second service game of Alex de Minaur. He wins that first point and immediately loses the next one with a backhand unforced error. So it's 15-all in the fourth game of the first set. This best of 5 match in the fourth round of 16 at New York. But just saying that we don't normally profile the higher ranked players. Yesterday with the Spotlight series, we shone a spotlight on the career as it stands, the stories behind the stats for the player, the 24-year-old from Australia, the 13th seed in the US Open this year as he goes to a 30-15 lead on serve. And found out quite a lot of interesting things about his progress this year, surging towards the top 10. If he can go a little bit deeper into the second week here at the US Open, he'll end up in the top 10. He was 12 in the world before this tournament started, and he's now 2-all in the second set there. They've been going 20 minutes, so I think at the pace this match is going, these guys are going to be really asking a lot of questions of each other's game, never mind serve or return to serve. So Alex de Minaur, the link to the episode that we did yesterday, the live presentation, the player watch, the showcase of Alex de Minaur, part of our Spotlight series that's been going a couple of years now. The link to that is there in the chat, and it was all things Alex de Minaur, a little bit about his head-to-head record against Daniil Medvedev, but a lot about his career in 2023, and also dipping into some really nice camaraderie coming from Classy Tanasi Kokkinakis, Rinky Hijikata, and Max Purcell, Chris O'Connell, Matt Ebden, all those guys that have been doing so well over the last 18 months to 2 years. And would you believe it that Australia has 4 men's Grand Slam champions currently? Well, they're not running around at the moment because a lot of them have dropped out of the singles and dropped out of the doubles. But going into the US Open this year, Australia had, did I say 8? It's 4. Is it 4 or 6? Getting confused. Kyrgios and Kokkinakis, box office Nick Kyrgios and Classy Tanasi Kokkinakis, they won the men's doubles championship at the Australian Open in Melbourne Park in 2022. They defeated Matt Ebden and Max Purcell, who said stuff this, and they went on and won Wimbledon. Was it last year or this year? And of course we had Kubler and Hijikata knocking off was it the number one men's seed? I don't think it was. They did it in the semi-final or the quarter-final on their way to winning the Australian Open men's doubles championship. There is great things going on in men's tennis at the moment for Australia, and also for the Yanks. Let's have a chat about the Yanks for a second. And you've got the URL to the US Open IBM Slam Tracker. That is in the chat. So don't fret. We're going to a selection of hero images here, and the score is down in the bottom right-hand corner. And don't fret if you're worried that the score has gone missing. It's in the bottom right-hand corner. Or you can bring it up in your own browser on your own device. We've got the link there in the description. And sorry, I'm just getting a little bit distracted because I seem to have lost the image. No, that's all correct. Anyway, so let's have a chat about how the American game is going for the men's singles at the moment. There's some great players coming through on the American circuit. The men's singles for the American men, it's been pretty dry of really well-performing, high-performing players in the men's singles. Well, for the last 5 to 10 years, hasn't it? and it's been great to see so many American men getting through the opening rounds of the US Open and performing well this year generally. And I was really surprised and happily surprised. Brian Shelton, the American player, and we'll just give you a score update. It's 30 all on the serve of Medvedev, 2 games all, 20 minutes gone in the first set. Medvedev serving at 102 miles per hour. That's got to be his second serve. And both players are going to the net. Didn't expect that from Medvedev, to be honest. Not surprised that Alex de Minaur is jumping forward and really trying to impose himself on the game. But Medvedev, he's giving back with interest at the net. But just getting back to that topic about US men, Brian Shelton, unseeded going into the US Open Grand Slam this year. A very well-performed player, and he's got a lot of fans in those in the know in the American tennis community at the elite level. A lot of fans of Brian Shelton, and I'll tell you what, they're on the ball because Brian Shelton in the match yesterday, playing for a round of 16 spot, he's beaten Tommy Paul, he's no slouch with a racket. And I'll tell you what that score was actually. I'll just bring this up in the background as Alex de Minaur really. I've got to refresh this screen again. I don't trust it. Alex de Minaur keeping Medvedev pretty honest on that service game, and it looks like that's what I'll be doing for the rest of the morning, refreshing this browser, because Alex de Minaur has broken the serve in the 4th game, the 5th game of the first set, and he goes to a 3-2 lead in the first set. De Minaur, the 13th seed, the Australian, now leads 15-love on serve. And that is a nice mini break. Great work, Alex de Minaur. You've got to forgive us for a little bit of bias here, cheering for the Australian player, because, this Australian Open life, we try pretty hard to be very balanced. And unfortunately, that means that sometimes for our global listeners, we are going to just suffer from a little bit of bias there. But as Alex de Minaur serves up again, a forehand volley winner, and you can see his strategy already. Alex de Minaur, there is no secret to his game at the moment. And you can see the score there in the bottom right hand corner of your screen. If you want the full screen, we've also given you the slam tracker, the link there in the chat. And de Minaur commanding this service game out to a 40-love lead after struggling with his first service game where he got taken to deuce. He's gone out to 40-love, but the adrenaline gets to him a bit. He's probably just that point in the moment, just a little bit not concentrating. A backhand unforced error off the racket of de Minaur, and he now leads 40-15. But going back to Tommy Paul as an example of the progress of American tennis, he was defeated in his 4th round match on Arthur Ashe Stadium yesterday in 2 hours and 40 minutes. The 14th seed Tommy Paul going out to Brian Shelton, the unseeded American player, in 2 hours and 40 minutes. Tommy Paul losing that match 4-6, 3-6, 6-4, 4-6. So great signs for US men's tennis, because I tell you what, if you were growing up in the 70s and went through the 80s and you had players like Vitas Gerulaitis, Jimmy Connors, John McEnroe, and then Pete Sampras, Andre Agassi, well, the diet of high-level tennis, the dominance of men's tennis, with the American men featuring in almost every single tournament second week for decades, not just years. Well, it's nice to see the Americans making a stand again and coming back to the fore. We need just want it to be mixed up a little bit at the top end. We've had a really, and no one's complaining about the dominance of Rafa and Roger Federer, Andy Murray, once he got going and when he broke through with his first Grand Slam 10 years ago. I can't believe it. And of course, the Joker, running right, scooping up every single trophy within sight, and refusing to bow down to the pressure of time and aging. But it's nice to see Alcaraz coming through. It's nice to see all these American guys coming through. And I'll tell you what, it's even nicer if you're a fan of Australian men's tennis and women's tennis. It's also extremely nice is such a poor word. It is fantastic to see the strength in the ranks of Australian men's tennis, because we have been a little bit lacking. When you got players like Sam Groth, the recently retired Sam Groth, when you're cheering on for players like him, who's only known for the fastest serve in history, and then he retires, and you think, well, who's next? Well, guess what? Alex de Minaur is surging towards the top 10. He leads 30-love. He's 2 points up on the serve of Daniil Medvedev, and he also leads 4-2 in the 7th game of the first set, and the signs are looking good. De Minaur predicted that this would be a chess match between these two guys in the round of 16. He's trying another backhand there. De Minaur loses that point with an unforced error, and they're now, it's Medvedev 15-30 on serve. And you can see clearly the strategy of Alex de Minaur. He's looking to mix it up and get up and down the court, in and out to the net. And so far succeeding, and all he has to do is just keep those unforced errors to a minimum. Can't do much about forced errors where your opponent's putting a bit of pressure on your serve or your backhand or your volley at the net, but you can those errors committed through your own actions. You can definitely do something about this, and I don't trust this browser. I'm going to keep refreshing it. So we'll keep you updated there. It's still, he's now 15-40. A second break point opportunity for Alex de Minaur in this service game, for the second service game in a row. The Australian has the Russian under the pump, and it's fair to say that if he wins this break point opportunity, he'll go to a 5-2 lead. And on serve, Alex de Minaur will be looking to wrap up the first set in around about half an hour, and that's exactly what he's done. De Minaur, he has forced an error on the forehand of Daniil Medvedev on the first break point opportunity at the asking on. So Alex de Minaur will go to the change of ends and come out to serve for the first set. What a fantastic result for Australia. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Tell stories, and our story is tennis. Yep, good morning, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Thanks for being part of our global audience. A lot of you are local, many of you are global, but you are all definitely not general. It is this Australian Open live produced by Wise Words Media. We're based in Melbourne, Australia, the home of the Australian Open, and we have gone out of our way happily and unexpectedly and excitedly, because guess what? There were two Australian men at the 2 days ago, two Australian men in the men's singles round of 16, fourth round match. Unfortunately, Rinky Hijikata could not get over the line, lost in straight sets against Francis Tiafoe Tiafoe, which one is it? He lost in straight sets. But currently on court, Louis Armstrong Stadium, 32 minutes gone, and he's gone to a 40-love lead on serve, serving at 106 miles per hour, and winning the point, forcing a forehand error out of the racket of Daniil Medvedev, the 3rd seed, and the 13th seed, the Australian, is 1 point away from winning the first set in just on 32 minutes. And I'll tell you what, after 3 or 4 games into this match, I was thinking that this would be a very long match, but de Minaur has won the tussle, and he's won the match. He's won the set point. Nice work, Alex de Minaur, taking the first set off the Russian, the 3rd seed, 6-2 in 32 minutes. How about that? Let us know what you think in the chat. If you're not a subscriber, you can't join the chat, but you'll only have to wait 60 seconds to join the conversation. So we'll just switch it up a gear there. So join the conversation in the chat. Let us know what your thoughts are about this round of 16, 4th round match between these two blokes. We've got links to a lot of info there to give you all the sort of information you need if you're not too familiar with Alex de Minaur, and you want a little bit about his head-to-head with Daniil Medvedev. He's beaten Medvedev twice recently in the last couple of months this year in the US hard court season, the lead-up matches to this tournament. We've put his bio in there, and we've got some other information in there about Alex de Minaur. Let's just go through those quickly. Let's have a look at the head-to-head info for these guys. By the numbers, the stories behind the stats. Well, Alex de Minaur, through the 3rd round at this year's US Open 2023, de Minaur has won 44% of points, returning the first serve of his opponent. And that makes him 4th going into today. He's 4th among the 128 players that started out in the men's singles at the US Open last week. Alex de Minaur has won 50% of points while returning serve, ranking 5th in the field. An amazing stat. Return of serve, you've got to have a really good eye, and that is exactly what Alex de Minaur has. And Alex de Minaur has lost 14% of points with errors, and it doesn't say whether it's forced or unforced errors, but 14% of points lost with errors compared to Medvedev's 18%. Let us know what you think about those stats. Are they helpful? Do they hinder? Do they bother you? Is it all too much, or is it really helpful? Let us know in the chat. Join the conversation. And as Alex de Minaur starts shortly, he'll be standing at the baseline, maybe inside the baseline, waiting for the serve of Daniil Medvedev. He will open up proceedings in the 2nd set, having gone down 2-6 in just on 30 minutes, or just over 30 minutes, that first set loss. Let's take a look at the by the numbers, the story behind the stats for Daniil Medvedev that we've put there in the chat for you to enjoy. Let us know what you think. By the numbers for Daniil Medvedev, the 3rd seed for this year's US Open, Medvedev, through the 3rd round, Medvedev, he won 48% of points returning the first serve. So he is 2nd out of a field for that stat of 128, whereas de Minaur is 4th. So you can't split these guys on that stat. Medvedev has won 52% of points while returning serve from his opponent. He's 3rd amongst the field of 128. Again, you can't split these guys because he's ranked 3rd and de Minaur ranked 5th. De Minaur winning 50% of points while returning serve. And finally, by the numbers, the story behind the stats for Daniil Medvedev, currently serving in the 2nd set. Medvedev has won 10% of points with forehand winners compared to de Minaur's 7% of points with forehand winners. So look, It just goes to show, and we say it all the time on this Australian Open Life, every single time we watch these guys and girls go around, doesn't matter where you're ranked, the margins at this level of tennis in a Grand Slam, they are so fine. Everyone on their day has a chance to win, and forget about rankings, forget about form. In the moment, anyone can win, and you can also win by forcing errors on your opponent. You can also force them into unforced errors as well, just by getting into their head. And what better example of that is the win yesterday on Arthur Ashe Stadium. Brian Shelton, the unseeded American, getting up in 4 sets against Tommy Paul, seeded 14th. Those two Americans, it was a grudge match, American grudge match there in 4 sets, 2 hours 49 minutes. Tommy Paul, the 14th seed, losing on it was box office viewing on prime time American television, that match on Arthur Ashe Stadium. Tommy Paul going down 4-6, 3-6, 6-4, 4-6, and doesn't that prove perfectly the point that we were just talking about, that stats and percentages and track record, let's face it, it's such fine margins at this level that on their day anyone can win. Thanks for joining us on this Australian Open Life. We tell stories, and our story is tennis, and the story of the weather. It's been a bit inclement leading into the opening days of the US Open. There was one day of qualifying washed out. I think it was the second day, which interrupted our coverage of the men's qualifying rounds there. Oh, well, we dried ourselves off and came back for another crack. Now, if you're in America, it's Labor Day. Happy Labor Day if you're in America. I didn't think Americans took holidays. What's that all about? But hope you enjoyed your day. It's currently nearly 7:15 in the evening there, Monday the 4th of September, currently in New York. And with some passing clouds, it's perfect weather for tennis. 28 degrees there on Louis Armstrong Stadium. It can be pretty vicious, the weather in New York on those show courts and those centre courts and the grandstand court there, but nice weather for tennis currently. And if you're sitting in the crowd, you're keeping us company on your iPhone, your iPad. I don't know what device you use to keep up with the tennis, but we appreciate you keeping us company. If you're munching down on a New York hot dog, a Dunkin' Donut, or enjoying a takeaway coffee, you're part of the crowd there on Louis Armstrong Stadium, cheering on these two blokes and getting in their face with your boisterous, raucous, in-your-face attitude there in New York. That's what we love. We love the personality of every Grand Slam, and can't wait to get there one day. That's on our hit list of tours overseas, to get to a Grand Slam match there at Billie Jean King National Tennis Centre in New York. We're currently, and you'll see the score on your screen in the bottom right-hand corner, and if you want the full screen, that is the link to that IBM Slam Tracker for this match. Live stats, live point-by-point coverage for these blokes. And finally, the first game of the second set has got underway with Medvedev just winning with an ace to go to 40-30, serving at 124 miles per hour. I think that's his first ace of the match, actually, Medvedev. So de Minaur's the strategy's working. Get into the net, mess with his head, mix up your returns, and get this guy committing errors and forced errors on either side of his body. And it's working because Medvedev has gone, stuff this, I'm pulling out the big guns, and he serves out at 120 miles per hour. The next serve, that's no good. His second serve, 92 miles per hour. He's decided to go for broke already. There's no finesse. That's all out the window. De Minaur's got this guy's he's going a bit hot-headed, and the hot-headed strategy for Medvedev, sending down those rockets, that succeeds at the 40-minute mark of the first game of the second set. After losing the first set 2-6, Daniil Medvedev leads 1-love in the second, and Alex de Minaur, he will be going quietly berserk inside, licking his lips, licking his chops, and even though he committed a backhand unforced error to concede that first service game to the serve of the Russian, I bet he can't wait to serve for the first time in the second set and get things underway. The weather there in New York, a nice 28 degrees. In Melbourne, Australia, where this Australian Open life is based, currently ticking around to 9:14, and don't tell me, it has, the temperature's gone up from a measly 6 degrees. It is currently 9 degrees outside our luxurious production studios here in Melbourne, Australia. 9 degrees, scattered showers and broken clouds. Well, that is definitely not going to raise anyone's temperature. So we are in the right spot, and your company is also keeping us warm. Not meaning to sound sycophantic or anything like that, but it's your company that we do this for. We're not sitting here talking to ourselves. We like sharing these matches with our audience. A lot of them local, many of them global, but definitely not general. So we really appreciate you dropping by. We don't mind if you're dropping in and out during this live match play coverage, point by point coverage. We'll be bringing you this match. Usually we only go one set for the matches that we feature, but when you've got two Australian men in the singles, round of 16, the fourth round, well, you just got to commit, don't you? And currently on Louis Armstrong Stadium, if we get back to the real reason why we're talking today, not about the weather in Melbourne and New York, but Louis Armstrong Stadium, he's gone to 40 love already. A de Minaur is on fire. My goodness, what a great start to this match by de Minaur. For the second time in the match, or was it the third time, going to a 40 love lead on serve. And that's great to see, because the first service game that he sent down in the match altogether, Medvedev got through his opening game reasonably comfortably and blew out the cobwebs. De Minaur a little bit slower out of the blocks. He was taking a juice, but he has just gone bang. 40 love on serve, forcing an error on the backhand of Medvedev. It is now one game all in the second set, and at 44 minutes into this match, I like the prospects of de Minaur. It is a lot of feel-good vibes coming across the waves from New York. So we'll switch it up a bit and check this out. And happily today, throughout our coverage, we haven't been able to give you this full screen of point-by-point coverage. We've only been able to give you the scorecard at the top, on the top half of that screen there that you currently see on screen. And this morning we found that we're able to scroll down and put in the coverage there of the points, the momentum, and the stats, which is nice. We can do that today. If you want to look at the full screen yourself, we've put the link to the tournament schedule, the results of the matches today, the schedule for day 9, I think we're up to in America, in New York for this tournament, as Medvedev goes 30 love, a lead of 30 love on his second service game of the second set, and serving at 123 miles per hour. So what we might do is, while Medvedev is serving and trying to establish some kind of authority in the second set, let's do a little bit of this. So what we're going to do now is, we've already told you the results from yesterday between those two American men's singles. Tommy Paul, the 14th seed, losing in 4 sets to Brian Shelton. So let's bring you up to date with some live scores. There is one other match on Arthur Ashe Stadium, I believe. And let's look at the schedule of play and how things have panned out for day 8, Monday the 4th of September. That's what it is currently in New York. And let's just see how the matches earlier in the day panned out. So we'll start with the earlier matches on Louis Armstrong Stadium, and we're going to work our way backwards as Alex de Minaur will go into the 4th game of the second set, trailing 1-2, but leading 1-0. And I am so sorry to say that the match... by the way, this match did not get started late. It merely... it was scheduled to start not before 4 p.m. local time in New York, and it started around about 6:30. And the reason for that was a couple of the matches went the distance preceding this, so let's work backwards. And I'm very sorry to report, if there are any fans of the women's singles and they were looking for a win for the 5th seed, Ons Jabeur, going down in straight sets in an hour and 22 minutes, I'm so disappointed. I'm a big fan of Ons Jabeur, and every time she's stepped up into a Grand Slam final, she's gone twice to the wire, and she's lost, come second each time, and yet to break through. The Tunisian yet to claim her maiden Grand Slam title, and it's so disappointing to see. Well, good for tennis, I guess, but Ons Jabeur, the 5th seed in the match preceding the one that we're following between Medvedev and de Minaur, Ons Jabeur losing in straight sets, 2-6, 4-6, to the Chinese player Zheng, the 23rd seed, in an hour and 22 minutes. I could not believe my eyes this morning when I saw Ons Jabeur. Okay, she lost the first set. Okay, no problem. But she was down 1-5 in the second set, and not really in the blink of an eye either. It just turned out to be that way. Now, she dragged it back to 4-5. She broke the serve of the Chinese player. She won her next service game, and unfortunately Zheng served out for the match. A good win to the Chinese player. There are quite a few Chinese players kicking around the WTA circuit, and yeah, well done. You can't begrudge any player who plays professionally, travelling the globe. We're pretty pleased to see tennis maintaining players at that level. You might remember the last and I think only Chinese player, men's or women's, Li Na, winning the Australian Open a few years ago now. A very, very popular player. And she was actually coached by an Australian, Peter McNamara. His claim to fame was men's doubles with Paul McNamee there in the late 70s through the mid-80s. Unfortunately, Peter McNamara, the coach of Li Na, and I'm sorry to bring up a little bit of sad facts, but the fact of the matter is, poor old Peter McNamara passed away from prostate cancer. He was in his mid-60s. That was 2 or 3 years ago now, and very unfortunate. And a little stat that has absolutely nothing to do with the match we're currently following is I actually went to school, the same high school as Peter McNamara. They're in the 70s and 80s, but he was quite a few years ahead of me. But he was always being mentioned in dispatches by my Australian history teacher, would you believe? And she was always very jealous of the fact that this bloke was going to earn, well, at that stage, thousands of dollars hitting a tennis ball, and she was stuck in a classroom teaching us. Anyway, that was her dry sense of humour. But we move on to the next match result today on Louis Armstrong Court. Let's get these out of the way, these matches, and we'll just bring up these hero shots in the background. Later on, we're going to be bringing you the sights, sounds, summer of tennis at Melbourne Park, but for the moment, the score there on your screen in the bottom right-hand corner, and you'll see that Alex de Minaur is 15-30 down on his second service game in the second set. A little bit of a challenging period mentally here for de Minaur. He'll be wanting to stay focused, stay in the moment, as he was given that first service point with a forced forehand error on his serve from Daniil Medvedev, who currently leads 15-30. But let's get through these matches really quick. Louis Armstrong Stadium, the second match of the day prior to the Jabeur loss. Louis Armstrong Stadium in 2 hours and 45 minutes. It was a men's singles fourth round of 16 match. Jack Draper, the unseeded Pom, a lot of unseeded players getting through the second week of the tournament this week. Fantastic to see, but unfortunately Jack Draper absolutely gave his all. He ran out of steam actually going into the fourth set. A 4-set loss to Andrei Rublev, the 8th seed, 3-6, 6-3, 3-6, 4-6 loss to Jack Draper. He won. He didn't lose any admirers. The bloke from the UK. There's so many people so happy to see him getting into the second week. He's got a lot of talent, this guy. If only his body can give him a run, a clear run. Now, does that sound familiar? A player from the UK whose body was preventing him from having a decent crack at things for a couple of years. I'm talking to you, Andy Murray. And the first match of the day, starting at 11 a.m. local time in New York on Louis Armstrong Stadium. It was a women's singles round of 16, fourth round match that ran for 2 hours and 10 minutes. They really had a go at each other, these two. It was going hammer and tongs there through 3 sets. And it was the Americans going absolutely bonkers in the stands, cheering along their unseeded women's singles player, Stearns. And unfortunately, she lost in 3 sets to Vondrousova, the 9th seed, and the American losing 7-6, 3-6, 2-6. She won a tight first set, 7 points to 3 in the tiebreaker. And speaking of tight, hopefully Alex de Minaur isn't getting tight on his serve, but we've already seen him taking a deuce by Medvedev on serve in the first set. So not too worried at this moment. We'll just follow as he serves 118 miles per hour. De Minaur, it is deuce in the 4th game of the second set. De Minaur leading 1 set to love. That next serve, is it coming up? The match has been going about 53 minutes. And he wins that break point. Does he win that break point? Wins a break point with a forehand. Oh no, he lost it. There was a break point opportunity for Medvedev. De Minaur goes down a break point with a forehand unforced error. That is not what we want to see, Alex. So he's being asked a couple of questions here. He has demonstrated a little bit of the collie wobbles, a very famous term here in the Australian rules football sporting landscape throughout the 70s, the 80s, the 60s, the collie wobbles. And has Alex de Minaur got those at the moment? Is he wobbling a little bit on serve? Let us know in the chat what you think. Join the conversation. In fact, why don't you start one? Because you've only got to subscribe and be a subscriber for a grand total of 60 seconds. Let us know what you think, because we like hearing from we like... I'll just start out this music again. As de Minaur, second serve at 89 miles per hour. Let us know what you think. We want to know your thoughts. And he's down a break point on second serve at the 54-minute mark. And Medvedev would be liking his chances here. He's got every reason to believe that he can knock de Minaur over on this service point and go to a 3-1 lead in the second set. But he fails because de Minaur comes up with a forehand winner under pressure. Nice work. I tell you what, if there's one thing I love about Alex de Minaur is the mentality, the character. You just know that if he loses a point at any stage in tournament play, it's not for lack of trying. This bloke runs down everything and anything. And isn't that something that the stats don't give us? Well, hang on a second. They do actually give us the distance covered. Let's have a look at this so far in the match. So for Alex de Minaur, he's covered a total distance on court during this match so far of 4,700 feet. And Medvedev, he's outpacing Medvedev there already. Medvedev only covering 4,600 odd feet in this match. So he's already leading that stat, which is no surprise. And during actual points, it's pretty even. They've both been around the court a total of 71 feet, which is a very odd stat to say out loud, to be honest. And the stat that I don't want to see is that it's a second breakpoint opportunity for Medvedev in this service game, the 4th game of the second set, that Alex de Minaur just facing a few little mental demons at the moment. That this is the second time, but for a third time, I'm happy to say that Alex de Minaur taking it back to deuce. You've got the score there in the bottom right-hand corner. We've got a few hero shots going around at the moment on screen. Rinky Hijikata going down yesterday in his round of 16 match. Jordan Thompson, we did a player watch profile of him the other day as part of our Spotlight series at this Australian Open Life. And he recently achieved 100 wins as a tour professional over 10 years of professional tennis tournament play. Well done, Jordan Thompson. But at the moment, it is Alex de Minaur, and he's lost another point going down, another breakpoint opportunity. Is that the fourth of this game? A forehand unforced error. We were talking about those before, that the best way for Alex de Minaur to get ahead is to just don't commit errors, Alex. And he sends down one of the first aces of the match. In fact, it is the first ace of the match for Alex de Minaur. And doesn't that say a lot about this bloke's mentality under pressure? And we're going to be looking at those stats later on, the stories behind the stats for both of these players. Breakpoint saved and breakpoint opportunities converted. And it was a forehand forced error that time from Medvedev that brought up the advantage now on serve for Alex de Minaur, the first time in this service game that he's got the advantage on his own serve in this game after going down 3 breakpoint opportunities and dragging it back to deuce. Serves now at 103 miles per hour. This match has nearly been going the hour. And does he win? Just let's refresh that screen. I don't trust this screen, actually. I've learnt already today not to trust this screen, and it's great that I didn't trust it, because the refresh screen tells me that a forehand volley winner off the racket of Alex de Minaur gets him through safely to draw level at 2-all in the second set at the 1 hour mark. Exactly 1 hour this match has been going, so it's all looking good. If you're an Australian tennis fan, and we're all fans of Alex de Minaur, the quiet achiever, slowly surging towards a top 10 place for the first time in his career. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
To be with you tonight for this very special Victoria Market Night Market, which is all about welcoming our international students. Students over the last 3 years, and we've also been so grateful to those who stayed for persisting and showing so much resilience. Our latest stats show that there are 138,000 international students back in Victoria, which is 92% of pre-pandemic levels. Woohoo! Because international students aren't just valuable on our campuses and in our tertiary institutions, they're fantastic customers and consumers. They're wonderful participants and volunteers. They're incredible workers in our local businesses particularly, and this is about setting up relationships for the long term. If you are an international student
G'day, welcome to this Australian Open Live, produced by Wise Words Media. We're based in Melbourne, Australia, home of the Australian Open at Melbourne Park. That is coming up in January 2024, and currently in New York, that's where our focus is. It is 30-15 in the fifth game of the second set with Daniil Medvedev, the third seed, the Russian, at this year's tournament. He is playing the 13th seed from Australia, and he goes through his third service game of the second set. He currently leads 3-2 thanks to a backhand forced error at 40-30 from Alex de Minaur. So they'll be having a change of ends. And during that break, we've just loaded some more information into the chat there for you. What's coming up? A little bit of a heads up what's coming up. We're going to be looking at the stats that matter. And the stats that matter, what's that all about? Well, this Australian Open Live, we like to delve deeply into the 2023 stats that matter. And why do these stats reveal more about a player's ability to deal with pressure while serving? And then simultaneously, how do they turn the screws and drive more pressure and heat onto the game of their opponent? Well, the best way to work this out, because often what's not in the stats, you can look at as many stats as you like, but how do you work out a player's mentality under pressure? How do you sum up by looking at one stat? Well, these stats don't tell the whole story, but they certainly give us an insight into a player. And we like looking at these two stats at this Australian Open Live, and it's the serving stats, the break points saved, and the returns stats, the break points converted. So stick around, because we'll be looking into those later on. But currently, the players are on a change of ends, with Alex de Minaur now coming out to serve. He's been serving beautifully and clinically in this second set, and also in the lead up to win the first set. He leads 1-0 He's currently up 30 on serve, trailing 2-3 in the second set, and that last serve going through at 112 miles per hour. In the second set, Alex de Minaur has hit 14 winners to Medvedev's 8 winners. You can see that for yourself. We've put the link to the IBM Slam Tracker for this match in the chat. We don't mind sharing that information, because it's all about sharing knowledge with our audience for all of our presentations. We don't claim to know everything, and we certainly don't own all the information. We're happy to share it. And de Minaur, a backhand volley winner, and that has to be at the net. He has not been afraid to put pressure on at the net. Alex de Minaur going to a 40-love lead in the blink of an eye. He'll bring it back to 3-all if he can win this next point in the second set, 3-all. And when de Minaur concludes this service game, which hopefully will be in the next couple of minutes, and that's it. Yep, goes through to a 3-all in the second set. Medvedev under pressure again with another forced error, this time on his backhand. De Minaur doing a great job of getting into Medvedev's head. And I'll tell you what, going into this match, Alex de Minaur was already saying openly in the press after his third round match that he had the measure of Medvedev in terms of it was going to be a game of chess, that he knows the game of the Russians so well. So let's just move on to some more scores from matches that were completed on other courts. Earlier today, day 8, Monday the 4th of September, it's Labor Day in America. If you're working today in America, why aren't you enjoying your Labor Day holiday? But let's check out these results. Thanks for joining us at this Australian Open Live. We hope you're enjoying our live audio-only radio-style coverage, tournament match play, point by point of this round of 16, fourth round match. Alex de Minaur leading 1-0 at the moment over the Russian third seed Daniil Medvedev. But we're going to take a look at some completed matches so far on day 8. We've already been through the completed matches. This is currently the 4th match on Louis Armstrong Stadium. Let's go over to Arthur Ashe Stadium, where play commenced earlier today at 12 p.m. local New York time. More American singles matches, this time between Madison Keys and Joanne Pegula, and it was the All-American affair. The 17th seed got up in straight sets. Nice win in an hour, 6-1, 6-3. The 3rd seed now out of the US Open, and no surprise at all. You probably even know this yourself, this result, that the champion of the future, the number 1 seed, winning in 3 straight sets on Arthur Ashe Stadium in less than 2 hours. Can you believe it? Beating the Italian Rinaldi, Carlos Alcaraz, 6-3, 6-3, 6-4, that win. And we'll just see that on the serve of Medvedev, Alex de Minaur making a little bit of a dent this service game. It's currently 30-40, but he lost that point with a backhand forced error. Come on, Alex, you've got to cut those errors out of your game. Currently, the next match before 7 p.m. It was ladies doubles, and that round 3 match completed in an hour and 16 minutes. And we don't usually read out scores for doubles, but we will this time, because in straight sets it was the American pair Coco Gauff and Joanne Pegula. They're the 3rd seed in the doubles. They won 6-4, 6-1 against opponents from Ukraine and Romania. The 14th seeds are Kostyuk and Rus. Oh, good to see Rus, the Romanian there. We covered her in the ladies qualifying. She didn't get through to the main draw. Unfortunately defeated in her qualifying matches. There are currently 2 matches to go on Arthur Ashe Stadium. One is currently underway, and one yet to get underway. So we'll just make sure you're happy with the score on Louis Armstrong Stadium. Medvedev won that service game. He's been leading throughout the 2nd set here, currently 4-3, but that's only by virtue of the fact that he served first in this 2nd set, and he's gone back to type here and pulled out an enormous ace to win that service game. So you can just tell that when push comes to shove, when the chips are down during this match, Medvedev is going to revert to type and pull out the biggest ace that he can out of his arsenal, and that's good news for Alex de Minaur, because he knows that he's got into the head of Daniil Medvedev. The strategy, going to the net, mixing up the serve, mixing up the court coverage, scrambling all over the court is a feature of his game. But the fact that Medvedev is relying on aces to get him through the tight points, that's great news, because you can't serve 100% accurately 100% of the time, especially when you feel like you're under pressure. Now that serve for the 8th service game of the 2nd set, de Minaur sends one down at 98. That is slow, and the 2nd serve even slower at 93. Interesting strategy from de Minaur, because he's obviously looking to take pace off his own serve, just to force the Russian to have some second thoughts in his instincts, that he's going to have to really ramp up the power on his return, which means he'll be rushing his shots, and that's exactly what happens. The serve goes down for de Minaur, and Medvedev goes, oh bloody hell, I can't handle this, and sends back an easy return. De Minaur wins the point with a forehand winner, and leads 15-love on serve. So back at Arthur Ashe Stadium, there's currently a match underway there that got underway at 7 p.m. on Arthur Ashe Stadium. That's box office territory, and it is a match between 2 Russians. It is the 13th seed, Katsakina. She is drawn to play the 2nd seed, Sabalenka, and it is Sabalenka leading currently 3-1, which means the match coming up after that is going to go deep into the New York night, because on Arthur Ashe Stadium, after this women's singles round of 16 match, is another round of 16 match. This time the fourth round men's singles match on Arthur Ashe Stadium. It is Alexander Zverev, the 12th seed, and he's playing the red-headed Italian Yannick Sinner, the 6th seed. And I like the chances of Sinner to go through to the quarterfinals, because not only is he a redhead, which I'm not, I like the game of Yannick Sinner, and I also love the mentality. He was quoted the other day, probably just before the start of the US Open, he was quoted as saying that he doesn't mind losing, and he said that there's nothing wrong with losing so long as you do it the right way. So I love that sort of stuff. We Aussies, we love great sportsmanship, because it's the way that you play and the way that you win and lose that often brings you the best support from any crowd anywhere around the world. And I love that when I heard that from Yannick Sinner. So that's all the matches currently underway, currently completed, and currently scheduled to be completed today on day 8, Monday the 4th of September, currently in New York, where it is about 7:45 in the evening, 28 degrees, passing clouds. Fantastic conditions if you're sitting in the stands there on Louis Armstrong Stadium and watching this match unfold between Medvedev and de Minaur, the 3rd seed, up against the 13th seed. And the 13th seed, the Australian, I wouldn't say he's giving Medvedev a clinic or a toweling. I would just say that he's quietly, as per his character, quietly going about his business. And he is 40-30 up on serve in the 8th game of the 2nd set, serving at 91 miles per hour, an hour and 15 minutes into this match. And he has every chance to take out this service game. A couple of wobbly moments throughout the match, especially on his last service game. He had 3 breakpoint opportunities, Medvedev, and failed at each moment. And Alex de Minaur finally got through to get the advantage on serve and take out that service game. So these blokes will follow this through to the end. That's a very slow serve, 84 miles per hour on his second serve there, de Minaur. That is a strategy, definitely, that he's looking to force Medvedev into rushing his shots. Doesn't work this time because Medvedev obviously getting used to the idea of this strategy. How well he's coping, I'm not sure, but he sends back a return on the second serve at 84 miles per hour. And de Minaur licks his chops. It's a backhand unforced error, which takes him to deuce yet again on his serve there. So we're going to take a short break of 3 to 4 to 5 minutes just to gear up for the remainder of this match. And we're going to leave you with the score on the screen there. When we come back, we'll be taking you to the sights, sounds, summer of tennis at Melbourne Park. Currently, it is Alex de Minaur doing a really nice job. He's not. I wouldn't say that he's taking Medvedev to the cleaners, but it's a very clinical performance so far. A few little wobbles there on serve, and de Minaur goes through to a 4. It is 4-all in the second set. We're going to take a break of about 3 to 5 minutes, and when we come back, we're going to look at the stats that matter, the stories behind the stats. Don't go away. We'll be right back for this 4th round men's singles match on Louis Armstrong Stadium between Daniil Medvedev, the 3rd seed, Alex de Minaur, the 13th seed from Australia, currently leading 1-0, and it's 4 games all in the second set. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
is Spring Street. There are free walking tours of the Fitzroy Gardens every Wednesday from 12:30 p.m.
And we are absolutely delighted to be with you tonight for this very special Queen Victoria Market night market, which is all about welcoming our international students. Students over the last 3 years, and we've also been so grateful to those who stayed for persisting and showing so much resilience. Our latest stats show that there are 138,000 international students back in Victoria, which is 92% of pre-pandemic levels. Because international students aren't just valuable on our campuses and in our tertiary institutions, they're fantastic customers and consumers, they're wonderful participants and volunteers, they're incredible workers in our local businesses particularly, and this is about setting up relationships for the long term. If you are an international student, could you please put your hand up?
Hey, hello, hello, hello. Hi. 5 o'clock in
What sort of music we're going to have tonight?
Volunteers to compete.
Story is tennis, and the tennis story that we've got for you is it's squeaky bum time for Daniil Medvedev in the second set here. He is going to try and break the serve of A de Minaur. 4 games all in the second set there, and we'll just make sure that is the case. Refresh the browser there for you because we don't want to get caught short by these this technology. and it's Alex de Minaur is facing a break of serve here, and not for the first time. He's having a bit of a wobble on serve in the second set, and Daniil Medvedev, whatever he's doing at the moment, and that is a double fault going down love 30 in the 9th game, the 10th game of this second set, and Medvedev, after a double fault, he loses the next point, a forehand unforced error. I'm almost speechless. I'm just almost speechless seeing that. Medvedev trying to break back to get an opportunity here to even up this match. He knows the pressure, the serve of Alex de Minaur can be put under pressure here. He's got his nose in front, leading 1-0, and but we've already seen his serve has wobbled quite a few times in this second set already. De Minaur serving that second serve so slow at 86 miles per hour. That's a deliberate strategy, and trailing 15-30 on serve here. And I'm just going to refresh this screen again. I just don't trust it for you, and I'll go to my screen, which says exactly the same thing. A bit of a rally going on here between these two blokes, and as we go back, and that's not what we want to see. De Minaur, a forehand volley, unforced error into the net, bringing up a breakpoint opportunity in this second set, and that won't be part of his plan. Alex de Minaur, he's got his work cut out for him in the 10th game of the second set. He's down 15-40 on serve. He's already dragged back breakpoint opportunities in previous service games. One service game, he was down 3 break points in a row and managed to finally get a break point of his own on serve and win that service game. But I don't like the looks of this, and neither does Alex de Minaur. His next serve is 120 miles per hour. My goodness. And that is it. That is a break of serve for Daniil Medvedev. Alex de Minaur cracks the mentality, the pressure got to his mental game, and it's a forehand forced error. And it is the unforced errors that are going to. That's the second set. That was a set point. So for any of you following along at home, just give me a rap over the knuckles, will you? Failing to come back from the break and see that Alex de Minaur was fighting to stay in the second set there on serve. That's not what we want to see, to be honest. So that is now 1-all in this round of 16, 4th round match between Medvedev and de Minaur. So every time you hear that stinger, if you're joining us for the first time, where have you been? We've been pumping out a lot of coverage for this US Open 2023. We did 4 days of qualifying in a row, alternating every day between the men and the women, and we also did the first 2 days of the US Open this year as part of our new strategy, rolling out some new dynamic interactive content with audio-only radio-style coverage of all Grand Slams this year. We decided to experiment a bit with this live presentation, and it's worked a treat. And also ramping up a little bit of differentiated content with comment. And as an example of that, shortly during this third set, we're going to be looking into the stats that matter for telling the stories of the players behind the stats, because Alex de Minaur, and that's where these stats matter, the serving stats, break points saved on serve, and unfortunately Alex de Minaur was unable to save those break points on his serve right in the last couple of minutes. That Medvedev cracked him open and brought him undone to go to 1-all in this round of 16 men's singles match on Louis Armstrong Stadium in New York, where it's currently about to tick over to 8 o'clock in the evening. The weather is still pretty pleasant. 28 degrees and passing clouds. And if you're in America, anywhere in America, no, don't worry about it. If you're just on the East Coast there, having a lazy evening courtside at Louis Armstrong Stadium, we hope you enjoyed your Labor Day holiday on the 4th of September there in America. I didn't think Americans had holidays. What's that all about? But I'll tell you what, I'd rather be in New York than Melbourne right now. It's gone 10 o'clock in the morning here at the production studios. Outside the production studios, it hasn't moved an inch. It was 6 degrees this morning at 6 o'clock, and now it's rocketed up to 9 degrees, and we've got scattered showers to look forward to, broken clouds, but I tell you, there's nothing broken about the clouds in New York. They're just passing. They've got a passing interest in this match on Louis Armstrong Stadium, and our interest is more than passing, because we're here simply because of Alex de Minaur and Rinky Hijikata, this Australian Open Live produced by Wise Words Media. We don't normally cover the top end of the draw in Grand Slams. We normally like to focus on the players that are well off Broadway. We like to look at the players in the top 100, just outside the top 100, and showcase them and give them their moment in the spotlight at Grand Slams. We cover qualifying rounds and the first two tournament rounds of every Grand Slam. But when we saw two Australian men, one of them a wild card, Rinky Hijikata, unfortunately, if you're a fan of Australian tennis, he lost his fourth round match yesterday to Frances Tiafoe, the 10th seed, the American, getting in front of his local crowd on his home court at his home Grand Slam, and the Yanks were going bonkers during that match because it was a very professional, very clinical. He absolutely demolished Rinky Hijikata yesterday, who committed far too many errors and unforced errors on either side of his body, and you can't really say that it wasn't his day, because I tell you what, it was all there before him for Rinky Hijikata. If he had have got through that fourth round match, Rinky Hijikata would be facing in this next round, he'd be facing the unseeded American Brian Shelton. Now get this, Rinky Hijikata went into the tournament 110 in the world, went into the tournament, into his first match into the main draw on a wildcard entry. His first three rounds at the US Open this year, Rinky Hijikata played and defeated three other unseeded men's singles players. Have you ever heard of anything more ridiculous as a statistic? And it was all in front of him, playing his first seeded opponent yesterday. If he had have got over Frances Tiafoe, the 10th, Tiafoe or Tiafoe, if he had have got over that opponent yesterday, he would be facing yet another unseeded player. So many unseeded players have got through on the men's and the women's side this year into the second week, and he'd be facing Brian Shelton, the American, the unseeded American, who defeated the seeded American Tommy Paul, seeded 14th this year, Tommy Paul, and he got done yesterday in a box office prime time match yesterday on Arthur Ashe Stadium in front of their home crowd. The Yanks going bonkers on the sidelines, and apologies for this extended parable of the state of play, because there has been a very long delay since the end of the second set, but play now underway in the first game of the third set. It is 1 set all. Medvedev 2-6, 6-4, now serving in the first game of the third set to Alex de Minaur. So we're going to be here for the duration, because it's not often that we cover matches like this. In fact, we don't. But after cheering Rinky Hijikata through to his loss yesterday, we just simply had to come back. We had the time, we had the opportunity, and of course we've got the audience, and we really appreciate everybody dropping in and out of our coverage today. We don't mind that you stay for a little while and then pop off. Maybe you've got to do some shopping or get the kids breakfast or take your mum out to morning tea. we don't mind. We really appreciate your company. But what we'd appreciate even more, please like and subscribe. Subscribe, and once you do that, you only have to be a subscriber for 60 seconds, and you can join the conversation. But guess what? Why not start a conversation? Tell us what your thoughts are about this year's US Open. It doesn't. You can talk about any topic, so long as it's tennis related. We don't mind. Maybe there's some women's singles matches you'd like to talk about. How about Ons Jabeur going down in straight sets earlier today? The match preceding this one on Louis Armstrong court. Could not believe my eyes when I saw she was down 1-5 in the second set to the Chinese player Zheng, seeded 23 this year. And the fifth seed, Ons Jabeur, the Tunisian, she's a Grand Slam finalist, a runner-up twice in her career, and she just cannot get over the line yet. And I'm pretty sure she'll do it at some point in her career, just like Andy Murray. It took him a long time to get going, but once he did, he was a multiple Grand Slam champion. As Daniil Medvedev is up 30-love on serve in the first game of the third set. And we're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we'll be looking at the stats that matter for Alex de Minaur. Don't go away, we'll be right back. We tell stories, and our story is tennis. G'day, welcome back to this live match play coverage, point by point, audio only, radio style coverage. The round of 16 men's singles match, the fourth round on Louis Armstrong Stadium in New York, where the weather is a very pleasant 28 degrees. It's around 8:10 in the evening there. Labor Day holiday in New York, the Yanks. I didn't think they took holidays, the Yanks, but I hope they enjoyed it regardless. And we are enjoying this match between the 13th seed, Alex de Minaur, currently on serve, down love one in third set. One set all this match. It's been going an hour and 35 minutes. And what we're going to be moving on to for your listening pleasure as this match rolls out, we're going to take you to a little bit of the stats that matter. And while we follow the score on screen there, just to mix it up a bit, for those of you that like to be a little bit more visually engaged, we're going to have the score there for you in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. But we are also going to take you to the sights, sounds, Summer of Tennis at the Australian Open at Melbourne Park. This Australian Open life, covering the Australian Open the last couple of years, and we like to get out there on site, and we'll be there again next January. And we want to bring you some sights, sounds that you might not normally see on the mainstream broadcast coverage. And this is what you can enjoy if you've never been to Melbourne before, let alone the Grand Slam. Here's a different view of Melbourne that we'd like you to enjoy. So while the live score is there on the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, we've also put the link to the IBM Slam Tracker for this match. It's in the chat. We're happy to share that with our audience if you want to have that going in your browser of whatever device you're using, whether it's your iPhone, your iPad, your personal computer. I don't know what you use to keep in touch with the US Open this year, but we're very pleased to have your company as we go through the stats that matter for Alex de Minaur at the US Open. So what are the stats that matter? Let's just go through that preamble again to let you know what we're talking about. So the stats that matter for this Australian Open Life, we like to delve deeply into the 2023 stats that matter. And what do these stats reveal more about a player's ability to deal with pressure, and why is it on their own serve while turning the screws on their opponent and driving more heat onto the serve of the opponent? Why is it that these stats matter? Well, it's just a little window. It's not a be-all, end-all, but it's a little window into the mentality and the fighting characteristic of a player when they're under pressure, when they're on their own serve, which is the serving stats, the break points saved, and also the return stats. How much pressure can they put on their opponent by converting break points opportunities that they've got? So let's take a look at how Alex de Minaur shapes up for this particular statistic. And currently it is in the second game of the third set. No surprise that I'm not surprised to see Alex de Minaur under pressure on his own serve, because if we were going to critique one part of Alex de Minaur's game, now he's not tiny. He's an even 6'1", I think, from memory. But Alex de Minaur's serve, you got to be honest, it doesn't really strike fear into the heart of any opponent in the top 10. And this is where his game is just a little bit short in terms of really being a weapon. And he's currently 30 all in the first service game, de Minaur's first service game of the third set. He's looking to go 1-all in the third set. But let's go back to the stats that matter for Alex de Minaur. So for his career on all surfaces, he is saving break points on his own serve 61% of the time. Now, during 2023, that percentage is about the same, 49%. Now, for break points converted on all surfaces throughout his career, he is converting break points on the serve of his opponent 42% of the time. That's not bad. And for his career, it's exactly the same. So if we go back to, say, 2018, break points saved on all surfaces. This is interesting. He was at 66% and break points converted 39%. So he's been reasonably. That just points to his mentality as a professional tennis player. That's how I'd convert that. But let's just double check the current score, and we come back to see that it's another unforced error. This time on his backhand, that Medvedev gives up that point and concedes the game on serve to de Minaur. It's now 1-all in the third set. 1 set each in the match, and we're going to be here for a while by the looks of it, which is okay by us. So let's take a look at the stats that matter for Daniil Medvedev here, and we'll just bring these up. And there's a link to these statistics on the ATP Tour website in the chat. We don't mind sharing these statistics with our audience, because we like making sure that everybody's got a good idea of what we're talking about and looking into. And we also like learning off our audience as well. And I'm just I'm clicking back through the gears. I'm just going to duplicate this. Medvedev on serve, 30 love on serve in the third game of the third set. This match been going an hour and 41 minutes, and Medvedev not mucking around in terms of serve speed, 98 miles per hour, that second serve. So it looks like I'm confident to say that Alex de Minaur, his strategy has got into the head of the Russian third seed. But he's just got to be a bit more consistent, Alex de Minaur, because that's yet another error on his forehand. This time a forced error on his a volley he was attempting to play. But it's the unforced errors that I want to see dropping out of de Minaur's game at this stage. And Medvedev now serving at 40 love in the third game of the third set. He's now leading 2-1 in the third set. And let's take a look at the stats that matter for Daniil Medvedev, the third seed, also ranked third in the world at the moment. And the stats that matter that we like to look at. Let's see how he stacks up against Alex de Minaur that we've just been through. His career statistics on all surfaces. Break points saved, 63%. That is a huge advantage. So he doesn't give much away on serve, Medvedev. And that could also be an indication of the ability to send down an ace whenever he likes, when he's under pressure. We've already seen him do that during this match, actually, Daniil Medvedev. And as far as break points converted for his career on all surfaces, 43%. So how does that stack up his career statistics as opposed to 2023? Well, I'm not enjoying reading this because in 2023, break points saved on serve for Daniil Medvedev actually increases. This year, he's saving those break points at 65%. And that tells me that Alex de Minaur, even though he's knocked over Medvedev twice in 2023, the last two times they've played, de Minaur can't take anything for granted because he's still got to deal with a hell of a serve coming off the racket of the Russian, the third seed. And when it comes to break points converted, Daniil Medvedev is ticking along at a rate of 48%. 48% of the break points opportunities he's got, he's converting those 48% of the time. Now, we've already seen him struggle to break the serve of Alex de Minaur. That in the midway through the second set in this current match, Medvedev had 3 break point opportunities on the serve of Alex de Minaur, and de Minaur dragged it back to deuce 3 times in that service game, and finally won that service game on the first advantage point that he had. So makes interesting reading, doesn't it? Those statistics. So you can see those for yourself. We've popped the URL for the head-to-head in the chat. We'll do it again right now in case you're too busy doing something else to track back through all the information that we've popped there into the chat. Let us know what you think. What are the statistics that you rely on to try and work out who's going to win a match in the second week of a Grand Slam, men's or ladies singles? Is there a statistic that you like to rely on? Do you like relying on something a little bit deeper than just the number of aces served or the number of points won? I can tell you what, we certainly do at this Australian Open Life. That's why the stats that matter to us are the serving stats, the break points saved, the return stats, the break points converted. Because I tell you what, those two statistics, besides when you've been talking non-stop for an hour and 50 minutes, it's a little bit hard to get out back to back. But those stats are a real window into the mentality and the fighting characteristics of the players that we love to watch. And it also tells us a lot about players that we don't know so well, that we follow in the qualifiers or the first 2 rounds of every Grand Slam tournament, because it's one of the best ways to get to the heart of the characteristics of the player that we're showcasing. So currently we're in the 4th game of the 3rd set. Medvedev leading 2-1 is 30-all on the racket of de Minaur, and he's got a very distinct strategy today, serving off pace. And what do I mean by that? He is serving at 85 miles per hour on second serves, and it's paying off because he's mixing up the speed of serve to mess with the rhythm of the Russian, and it's working because the Russian is giving up a lot of forced errors. He's giving up a lot of unforced errors, and again, de Minaur goes ahead thanks to a backhand forced error on his serve. He's 40-30 up, and that strategy is working. So really pleasing signs here for Alex de Minaur. I don't know that he's going to be too worried about losing that second set because because it's very even, and he even predicted before this match started, he predicted it that it would be an even match, but that's not what I want to see. It's a double fault from De Minaur, and he's gone to Tues here on serve, and he's only served 2 double faults. Oh, that's through the third set. Far too many double faults from De Minaur as far as I'm concerned. Medvedev has served 4 double faults in this third set. But no, you don't want to be doing that, Alex. You want to be concentrating, mate. You can't be giving away 3 points on serve through double faults. In the background, you can hear a bit of excitement there. That was the Swedish supporters. The sights, sounds, summer of tennis. That was the Swedish supporters courtside at a qualifying match for Miriam Björklund. And on screen at the moment, that is the Japanese player in her qualifying round match at the Australian Open, now Hibino. I think that should be playing, I'm just going to double check, playing Cristina Bucsa, the Italian. I'm just going to double check this while I'm talking, because it's, this is one of my compilation footage from, they're all bundled together. Yeah, no, it's now Hibino against Lucia Bronzetti, not Cristina Bucsa. My apologies there. And De Minaur forced an unforced forehand error on his backhand, and he loses. That is another loss of service game. Medvedev has cracked the serve of Alex De Minaur for the first time in the third set. He only needed 1 break of serve, and that was to save the second set. He broke the serve for the first time in the second set on Alex De Minaur. So just as I was, well, not ranting and raving, but I was pretty happy with how Alex De Minaur was progressing. And I was just moments ago saying that he wouldn't be worried. Well, guess what? He turns around, double faults, forced errors, unforced errors on his serve to go down 1-3, and he's now down 15-love in the third set on the serve of Medvedev. And I'll tell you what, as the clock ticks through to 8:20, and the sun's gone down at 28 degrees, passing clouds, I wouldn't like to be playing in front of these boisterous, raucous New York crowds at Louis Armstrong Stadium. They'll be relishing this match, because I'm sure that as much as some of them will be in De Minaur's corner, they'll be loving a good, even match with top quality tennis, and that's exactly what they're getting. 1 set all. Medvedev up 3-1. It's 15 all on Medvedev's serve. An hour and 50 minutes this match has been going. And it'd be interesting to see how Medvedev is he following the same strategy that he started out with, or has he started mixing things up himself? But one thing we know for sure, as De Minaur hits a forehand winner to go 15 all on serve, one thing's for sure is Medvedev won't be holding back on serve here. So we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to go through some of the match statistics for this 4th round of 16 men's singles match between Alex De Minaur and Daniil Medvedev, the 3rd seed up against the Australian 13th seed. Don't go away. We'll be right back. G'day, welcome back to this Australian Open Life. We tell stories and our story is tennis. And at the moment, the story is on Louis Armstrong Stadium in New York. 1-all, the Russian looking to press an advantage here. He's spotted an opportunity to go to a 4-1 lead, and he currently leads 40-30 on serve. And that's exactly what happens as we have the sights, sounds, summer of tennis on screen for you. You can hear the fans courtside. You see the fans, not quite courtside, and some of the views there that you don't often see on mainstream broadcast coverage. The sights, sounds, summer of tennis. And we've got the score there in the right-hand corner there for you on screen. And we've also put the head-to-head statistics, a link to that in the chat, as well as the IBM live score tracker. That is also a link in the chat there for you to take advantage of if you want to see that. So be our guest. Make sure you subscribe. Join the conversation. We'd love to know what your thoughts are about this match or about our coverage. You only have to be a subscriber for 60 seconds. And in fact, we'd love it if you'd start a conversation. Let us know, because we learn a lot off our audience. A lot of them are local. Many of them are global, but a lot of you are definitely not general. So let us know what you think. So as this third set progresses, there's a few worrying signs here for Alex de Minaur. He's confident that he's got the game, and he's got the chops, the tennis chops, to do some damage and go into the quarterfinals and the semi-finals of the US Open. He's beaten Medvedev twice in their previous two meetings and done quite well, thank you very much. But at the moment, down 1-4 in the third set. There's a change of ends. This match has been going an hour and 52 minutes. But Medvedev will be liking what he's seeing on the scoreboard as he munches through his banana or his borscht or whatever it is that he's chomping on in this change of ends to restore a bit of energy and nutrition, and washing it all down, no doubt with a Gatorade or whatever it is he's sponsored by. He'll be happy that he won that service game. He won it 40-30 and got the winner thanks to another unforced error, this time off the backhand of Alex de Minaur. So we're waiting for de Minaur to serve. I think that first serve has gone down at 97 miles per hour. A definite strategy from de Minaur. He's trying to muck around with the rhythm of the Russian. He's trying to force the Russian to rush his shots and put more power than he needs to in the return of serve. It doesn't work on this occasion. It is 15, love 15, de Minaur trailing on serve. And Medvedev, he's pretty wily. He wouldn't be fooled too much by the strategy. He's probably cottoned onto it well by now that we're into the third set. And they've played 26 games now, these guys, over the last hour and 55 minutes. And de Minaur commits a backhand unforced error. You just got to cut those out, Alex. We don't want to be seeing any more of those in your statistics. And speaking of statistics, why don't we take a look at the stats that matter for this match. We've taken a look at the stats that matter for each player in the last few minutes. Serving stats, break points converted. But why don't we switch gears and look at the stats for this match as they currently stand. And we'll go back to the full screen for the scoreboard, and the link to the IBM Slam Tracker is there in the chat, and we'll put it there again just in case you can't be bothered scrolling up. We'll put that there for you, and you can watch along or check it out anytime you want yourself. So let's take a look at the match stats. Alex de Minaur, there's a couple of wobbles in his game, and that's been there the whole way through since the end of the first set, when he lost the first set on serve there. The second set he lost on his serve. Medvedev cracked his serve for the first time in the second set and took that 6-4. De Minaur won the first set 6-2, and he's currently down 1-4 and 30-40 on serve in the third set. So you can scroll yourself into another tab and look at these stats, but why don't we go through them and let's see why Alex de Minaur is trailing 1-4 in the third set. This round of 16, fourth round match at Louis Armstrong Stadium, that's nearly going nearly 2 hours, and there's a change in the scorecard. And this is not a stat. This is not what we want to see 2 hours into this match, that Medvedev cracks the serve of the Australian with ease and breaks it for the second time in this third set. And all of a sudden, Alex de Minaur is on the serve of the Russian coming up, and he belts down something at 125 miles per hour. So we're going to stick with this. We'll save the stats for the fourth set. The first serve no good at 125 miles per hour. The second serve at 92 miles per hour. And de Minaur comes up with a forehand winner. Nice work, Alex. So forgive us for a little bit of bias. Forgive us for a little bit of subtle cheering for the Australian, because that's why we're here today. Alex de Minaur is the last Australian in the men's or women's singles, the last Australian currently live in the draw. And you'll forgive us for a little bit of homegrown bias here. Yesterday we tracked the match on the same stadium court as de Minaur commits another forced error, this time on his backhand. Rinky Hijikata, the other Australian who'd made it into the round of 16 in the men's singles, he got absolutely demolished by Francis Tiafoe, the American 10th seed. Straight sets lost there to Rinky, and he was not impressed. Is an understatement to say he was not impressed with his own performance, but he gave it a good crack, and he goes into the top 100 when the rankings refresh and published next Monday or Tuesday, as de Minaur staring down the barrel of a third set, giving up that third set for the Russian to go 2-1 lead, and I'm not confident at the it's just going to tick over to the 2 hour mark for this match. Medvedev will have his tail up. We've seen him mixing up his serves. He's been trying to go, he's been trying to keep proceedings fairly clinical, but when he's been under pressure earlier in this match, he's gone stuff this, and he's pulled out a serve at 127 miles per hour, which forces an error on the forehand of Alex de Minaur. 2 set points for the third set. The Russian, in the blink of an eye during this third set, I actually, if I'm going to be honest, I thought de Minaur would put up a much better performance in the third set here, so I can't really account for it. He's down 40-15. It's the second serve at 100 miles per hour here for the Russian, and that is the it's a forehand winner from de Minaur. Nice work from and that just speaks to his mentality. Alex de Minaur, he's not going to go mentally weak at the knees in the face of this at 5-1 down in the third set. He'll be going for a broke, but not in a irresponsible fashion. He'll be thinking his way through this situation as the serve comes down 112 miles per hour, and he'll think through this situation, de Minaur, and he'll get round the court chasing everything down. That's his DNA. That's what he's known for, and he succeeds. And he succeeds to the point where he forces a backhand error on Medvedev, and that is a great sign, because if you can get in the head of your opponent and force them into an error, that's the end result. You're going to end up in a situation, and he's dragged it back to deuce. But I tell you what, if Alex de Minaur is thinking about getting back into this third set and taking it to a tie break, he's not going to do it when he's making errors on his backhand. This time it's a forced error, so we'll forgive him this time, Alex de Minaur. What do you think? Is anyone prepared to contribute some comments in the chat? You can do that by being a subscriber. We'd love to know your thoughts, because obviously if you're dropping in and out of this live, point by point, live match play coverage, audio only, radio style, obviously you're interested in this match, and you're a fan of tennis, Grand Slam tennis, as we are here at this Australian Open Live, produced by Wise Words Media. We're based in Melbourne, Australia, the home of the Australian Open, and on screen you can see the scorecard taken to Tues for the second time in this game, as de Minaur drags a point from advantage back to Tues off the serve of the Russian committing a forced error on his backhand. So de Minaur managing to keep up with the Russian here, but even if he forces a break on the serve of the Russian here, when you're down 1-5, you've got it all ahead of you. But as the Russian goes to advantage on serve, a lot of players at this level, and we've seen it before actually already in this tournament, and I can't think of the match specifically that I was following, but the player that was leading in a similar fashion, it was either 5-1 or 4-2 or something, but he dropped points in the game that he was receiving, and he just dropped that, let the set go through to its conclusion on serve, and then he came out to serve for the next set and put all his effort into that. So that's one of the things we like about Alex de Minaur. He's going to contest every single point as hard as he can, and unfortunately competing in that style has failed to save the third set going to Daniil Medvedev. He wins that set 6-1. He won the second set 6-4 after losing the first set 4-6. So it's going into a fourth set here. The Russian's got his act together. He's worked out the strategy of de Minaur. This is the 7th time they've met. Medvedev won the first two matches they played across their careers, and de Minaur came back with interest this year. He won the last two matches they played during 2023 in straight sets and 3 sets, those wins. But at the moment, on Louis Armstrong Stadium in New York, at the men's singles 4th round of 16 match that's been going 2 hours and 4 minutes, Alex de Minaur now trailing 2-1. The 13th seed, the Russian 3rd seed, has the advantage, and when we come back we're going to see what he does with that advantage, so don't go away, we'll be right back. G'day, welcome back to this Australian Open Live produced by Wise Words Media. We are currently in the guts of our 4th round men's singles match that has currently been going 2 hours and 4 minutes, and the 4th set is starting here. the fourth set between Alex de Minaur, the Australian 13th seed. He's down 2-1 and about to serve in the first game of the fourth set to Daniil Medvedev, the Russian third seed. And during this fourth set, we're going to be, we've already dug into the stats that matter for these two blokes. What are the stats that matter? Well, let me tell you what the stats that matter are to this Australian Open life. The serving stats, the break points saved, and the returning stats, the break points converted, often give us a nice little window into the mentality, the fighting characteristics, and the ability of a player to put pressure on their opponent. Well, we've been through those, and we're now going to go through the stats that matter for this entire match. We're going to have a look at those and see why is Alex de Minaur dominating the stats, but behind in the match at this point. So let's just switch gears a bit. And as we do that, the score is there in the bottom right-hand corner there for you. We've also put the link to the IBM Live Slam Tracker in the chat there for you. You can open up that in your own browser, on your own device, on your iPhone, your iPad. I don't know what you use to keep up with the US Open tennis, but we don't mind sharing that information. And some hero shots there of Alex de Minaur and Rinky Hijikata, the other Australian who lost yesterday in his round of 16, fourth round match. He lost to the 10th seed, the American Francis Tiafoe, in front of those boisterous, raucous, in-your-face, take no prisoners attitude of those New York tennis fans, the personalities of all the different Grand Slams. That's why we love the US tennis, because they'll be cheering and dancing. The change of ends, even the cameramen covering the match, they get dancing as well. So as Alex de Minaur suddenly under the tiniest bit of pressure again on serve, he is down 15-30 on serve. And let's take a look at the stats for this match and see if it can give us any insights into why Alex de Minaur is got his nose well in front in terms of statistics, but he is behind 2 sets to love. So as far as aces go, well, that's just a no-brainer there. Alex de Minaur down 9 aces to 1. He pulled out an ace, it was sometime late in the first set, I think it was, but he's not known for his aces. And unfortunately, Alex de Minaur, his serve does not strike fear into any opponent. That's just being honest. And it might actually be that his serve is actually a weakness, that most opponents of Alex de Minaur, once they get a handle on his serve, they can just concentrate on their own game. And that's exactly what's happening here. Medvedev pulling out 9 aces. And some of those aces have come out at times of pressure during this match, when he's just gone, oh, stuff it, I can't be bothered with all this dinking around the court and chasing down well-angled returns from de Minaur. I'm just going to throw this on the racket and just give it everything I've got. One of his serves was up at 127 miles per hour. And de Minaur, his strategy on serve, we've noticed, he's been really trying to mess with the rhythm of the Russian and make him power through shots to put power on the return of serve. Some of de Minaur's serves have been first serves around the low 80s, which is incredibly slow. And we see that Alex de Minaur getting through that opening service game, he was down at one point, but managed to drag it back from 15-30 to 40-30, and Medvedev losing that service game on the racket of Alex de Minaur with an unforced error on his forehand. So if we can just see a few more of those, please, as Alex de Minaur at the 2-hour 11-minute mark of this second set goes to a 1-love lead in the fourth set. But he's got his work cut out for him. Look, there's no danger of him conceding this match in the fashion that he lost the third set. It could only happen if Medvedev gets his tail up with the crowd behind him, and de Minaur just gets rattled. but pretty confident that we'll see a pretty decent fourth set here, and we hope it goes to a fifth, of course. This match got underway a little bit later than it was scheduled, but that was only because of the matches that were preceding it on Louis Armstrong court. So while we go through the stats that matter, let's take you back to the sights, sounds, summer of tennis at Melbourne Park. And for those of you that have never been to Melbourne, for those of you that don't know Melbourne at all, especially Melbourne Park, we've got some archive footage here to present to you some sights, sounds, summer of tennis from Melbourne Park that you don't often and probably never see on the broadcast coverage. And the score there in the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. And you can keep up with the players. It's currently 15 all on the racket of Medvedev. He's trailing Love 1 in the fourth set. He's up 2 sets to 1. And he'd be hoping to power through his serve here. And he'd like to be increasing his aces from 9 to 1. The double faults, each player has served a few double faults. Medvedev 5, De Minaur 2. So De Minaur doing a good job on serve there, concentrating. But as we go into the stat for the first serve percentage in, Medvedev clocking along at 63%. De Minaur not too bad at 58, but he'd want to up that if he's going to get back into this match, because he'd want the ball in play to be able to put pressure on Medvedev when he's serving. But the win percentage on first serve, an unbelievably outrageous 80% of first serves that go in, Medvedev is winning those. And De Minaur, well, he's not doing too badly, to be honest, because his own percentage is 73% of points won on his first serve. And he's also leading Medvedev when it comes to second serve. Win percentage on second serve is 49%, and Medvedev is only 39%. And as we spoke of earlier, as there's a breakpoint opportunity here for De Minaur. All of a sudden, early in the fourth set, the first service game of Medvedev, he's down 30-40, and if De Minaur can just crack this on this serve, will stick with this, and surprise, surprise, the serve goes down from Medvedev at 127 miles per hour, and he's not mucking around here. The next serve at 126 miles per hour. De Minaur will be ready for this. He knows this bloke's game inside out, and he won't be too worried about, he'll be thinking his way through this situation, De Minaur. And we're waiting for the, I'm just going to refresh the screen. I don't trust this browser. And we'll hopefully see that De Minaur's come up with the goods. No, Medvedev, it's a backhand winner. We don't see too many backhand winners from Daniil Medvedev so far in this match. And he pulls one out of nowhere to bring it back to deuce at just the right time. So going back to those stats, De Minaur, besides mixing up his serve, a real strategy with sending down very slow serves in the low 80s. He's also charging to the net, which is no surprise. It's in the DNA of every Aussie tennis player to rush the net, serve volley tennis, and he's winning 83% of net points that he competes with, De Minaur, and unfortunately now down and to advantage on serve for Medvedev. He's got through the last 2 to 3 points to drag it back from breakpoint opportunities, and he's serving at 124 miles per hour. And De Minaur returns, and hopefully with interest. He hits a fair slew of winners off either side of his body, but not this time. Alex De Minaur fails to convert that single breakpoint opportunity that presented itself in that service game for Medvedev, and he loses that point, and Medvedev cleans up after getting back to deuce, and then wins the next point to go 1-1 in the fourth set. And as we continue, the net points won. But the break points, I can't believe my eyes here that of the break point opportunities presented on the serve of Medvedev, De Minaur's ticking along at 50%, but Medvedev only converting 38% of break points. That is a surprise. But the receiving points won, very, very even, hard to split them. The winners overall, and this is surprising, De Minaur has actually hit more winners, 29 to 21. That is pretty interesting. But here's where it is. Actually, the tale of the match is that despite hitting more winners, De Minaur, 29 winners to 21, it's Medvedev committing more unforced errors, less unforced errors, but only by 3, 28 to 31 unforced errors, and the total points won 87 to 82. So there's not too much splitting these blokes as Medvedev goes out to a 30-love lead on a love 30 lead, I beg your pardon, on the serve of De Minaur. There's not much splitting these blokes, and it's really boiling down to key moments at key points in key games of each set, and you'd have to say that Medvedev is just he's just doing the business when it counts during this match, and De Minaur, he's not really doing too much wrong. I thought he might be committing more unforced errors, up around 40 unforced errors, but it's only 32. But he's still committing more unforced errors than Medvedev at this point, as Medvedev goes to a love 40 lead with a forehand winner on the serve of De Minaur. And I'll tell you why that's dangerous, because the Yanks will love that, despite the fact this bloke's Russian. They love seeing good tennis in New York. They're a very educated tennis crowd there, despite how raucous and in your face they are. They don't take any rubbish. The New Yorkers, they'll be courtside there, and we're all interested in how Alex De Minaur is going to handle this situation at love 40 down. The second serve going down at 81 miles per hour. I don't like the looks of this at one game all, but love 40 down in the fourth set. De Minaur had a chance, a single breakpoint opportunity, and that breakpoint opportunity on the serve of Daniil Medvedev. I'll tell you what, he'd love to have that right now, because after having a chance to go to a 2-0 lead going into his serve for the third game of the fourth set, De Minaur has crumbled, and I don't think that's too strong a word. He's crumbled to lose the opening service game of the fourth set. He is down 1-2 at a change of ends, 2 hours, 20 minutes into this match on Louis Armstrong Stadium in New York. And Medvedev is going to come out from a change of ends to serve at 2-1 in the fourth set, leading 2 sets to 1. And if I was Alex De Minaur's coach, I'd be biting my fingernails. Don't go away. We'll be right back. Tell stories, and our story is tennis, and the story isn't looking too good at the moment for Alex De Minaur. Unfortunately, he is down 1-2, just lost his serve, had it broken there, the first service game of the fourth set, after having lost the third set 1-6. Doesn't make great reading, even though he lost the second set 4-6, and he came out and won the first set 6-2. So it's not pretty reading. Let's be honest, these chaps are still on a change of ends. And Medvedev, it's fair to say the New York crowd will be up and about seeing this display. And it's looking like that at the moment, where the momentum, you'd have to say, it's not swung towards Daniil Medvedev. The momentum is all on the racket of the Russian. The third seed goes to a 40-love lead on serve. He leads 2-1 in the fourth, 2-1 in this round of 16, fourth round men's singles match at Louis Armstrong Stadium there in New York. And we will just switch over to the full screen there. You can track this match yourself in your browser, on your device, your iPhone, your iPad. I don't know what you use to keep up with the tennis in New York, but we've put the URL for the IBM live score tracker. The IBM, what's it called again? The Slam Tracker. We put the URL there for you if you're interested, and that is one of the quickest service games of this match for Medvedev. Goes 40-15, bang. De Minaur can't handle it, forces an error on his backhand, and he trails 1-3 in the fourth set. And the momentum, it's all with the Russian at the moment. And the locals in New York, despite the fact this guy is Russian, they'll be appreciating the quality of tennis. And that's from the Russian, of course, because he's taken this game by the scruff of the neck. Now, has he taken it by the scruff of the neck? Do you agree? Or has he simply been handed the momentum off the unforced errors on the forehand and the backhand from Alex de Minaur? You tell me, because we'd like you to join the conversation. You only have to be a subscriber for 60 seconds to join the conversation. We'd like to know your thoughts. Why don't you go one better? Why don't you start a conversation? Let us know what your thoughts are, because we like learning lots of different facts and figures and stats, some insights from our audience. A lot of them are local, many of them are global, but we know for sure that none of you are general in that regard. So we appreciate your company. We appreciate you all dropping in and out as we've been going here for the last couple of hours. This match got underway a little bit later than scheduled, but that was only because of some of the matches going the distance on Louis Armstrong Stadium court prior to this one getting underway. So it's for Alex de Minaur. You can see there he's down love 30 again on serve. Oh gee whiz, this does not look good. This does not look good at all. Come on, Alex, get your act together. But I would say that Alex could be a little bit rattled here, because he knows that despite coming up trumps, poor choice of words there given this is playing in New York, but despite coming up trumps in the previous two meetings with Daniil Medvedev, Alex de Minaur cleaned him up and got the better of the Russian and worked out his game, but he's down love 40 on serve. 1-3 in the fourth set. He is down 1-2 in this match, and I'm not feeling a lot of confidence there as de Minaur loses the previous point with an unforced error on his forehand, and that's exactly what we don't want to see. We saw too much of that yesterday in the match, the round of 16, fourth round men's singles match that Rinky Hijikata lost to Francis Tiafoe, the 10th seeded American, who got that job done in very clinical, professional fashion. All he had to do was just get the job done, and he demolished Rinky Hijikata in the final two sets. And I'm sorry to say that it looks like a demolition job taking place on the serve of Alex de Minaur. And boy, oh boy, that's exactly what's happening. He's lost all his rhythm. He's been serving throughout this match with a very definite strategy. The breakpoint opportunity at love 40, Medvedev wins with a backhand winner, and you can bet that the New Yorkers will be up on their feet cheering that. We'll keep the score on screen there for you, and we'll keep these hero images up in some sort of vague, biased hope that the Aussie, the 24-year-old Aussie, seeded 13th this year, can drag it back. But I'll tell you what, it's not looking too promising for Alex de Minaur, and so it's a change of ends. The Russian will be looking to serve out the next game, and I can't quell the concern that Alex de Minaur's serve is not going to hold up to scrutiny in the next two games. I'm fearing the worst at the moment, but we are trying to do our unbiased best to give credit to the game of Daniil Medvedev. Let's just go through some insights for Daniil Medvedev leading into this match by the numbers. The first serve return winner percentage for Daniil Medvedev leading into this match was 48%. Through the third round, Daniil Medvedev has won 48% of points returning the first serve of his opponent, and he is ranked second in the tournament. Out of 128 players that started this tournament, he is currently ranked second, so a real danger on serve. He's won 52% of points while returning serve from his opponent throughout the tournament. That makes him ranked, he is the third of 128 competitors. Daniil Medvedev takes up the sixth game of the fourth set, leading 4-1, the serve at 128 miles per hour. And while we're looking at that result coming through, his first serve accuracy is 60% coming into this match, and Alex de Minaur only managing 50%. And I'll tell you what, if you're Alex de Minaur, and if you're deciding to come into this match, this fourth round of 16 match, if you're coming in with a strategy, Alex de Minaur, of serving at 85 to 82 miles per hour for both first and second serves, mate, you've got to be more accurate than 50%. Come on. Medvedev down love 15 in this service game, leading 4-1 in the fourth set. And finally, leading into this fourth round of 16 singles match, Daniil Medvedev has won 10% of his points with forehand winners. And he again leads Alex de Minaur, who can only manage 7% of points won with forehand winners. So, yes, we're trying to be very unbiased here as Daniil Medvedev on serve comes back to 15-all with a forehand winner. And so far in the fourth set, this just is such a strange set. How is Alex de Minaur behind in this match, let alone this set? Alex de Minaur, this can't be right, this stat. It has to be computer generated, because it's trying to tell me that in the fourth set, Alex de Minaur is currently hitting 31 winners to 26 from Medvedev. That can't be right. Can somebody help me out with that? Is that true? Is that stat accurate? I can't see how it is, to be honest, because Alex de Minaur is having a torrid time on Louis Armstrong court because he's down 1-4 in the fourth set. He lost the third set 1-6. He lost the second set 4-6, and he's getting towelled by Medvedev. I think it's come that time of the match to use that description. Medvedev is toweling him up here. He's pulled his pants down over the last two sets. The way that he's won the second and the third set, and the way that he's winning the fourth. But de Minaur having a little bit to say at this point. His average serve speed, Medvedev, in this service game is 113 miles per hour. No, this is throughout the match. De Minaur at 102 miles per hour. That doesn't quite make sense to me given what I've seen, but 30-all on serve of the Russian. But another error, this time on the backhand. De Minaur, that was a forced error. And it goes a break point opportunity for de Minaur. The second break point opportunity of the fourth set for de Minaur. Can he get through? No, he can't. It goes back to deuce. A double fault gave the break point opportunity, but it was a service winner from Medvedev that brought it back to deuce. Hopefully for Medvedev's sake, he's not thinking too far ahead, hopefully. But if he is, de Minaur will be all over him like a proverbial, and that's exactly what happens. De Minaur has a second breakpoint opportunity in this game. It is the third breakpoint opportunity in this set. And boy, I tell you what, de Minaur, I bet he wishes he'd taken that breakpoint, because the Russian, instead of going down 2-1, going into the serve of de Minaur, all of a sudden he was up 3-1, and now he's up 4-1. So de Minaur has a chance to go to 2-4 in this fourth set, but with the amount of unforced errors, I wouldn't count on it. And that's exactly what happens. It goes back to deuce because of a backhand unforced error. I'm not going to say that I predicted it or I tipped it or I'm psychic. It's just that Alex de Minaur is a little bit too easy to read. And I'll tell you what, if Alex de Minaur is easy to read for us here at this Australian Open Live, well, imagine how easy he is to read on the other side of the net on Louis Armstrong Stadium if your name is Daniil Medvedev and you're the third seed at the US Open in 2023. And as expected, Medvedev cleans up the next point with an ace, and he goes to an advantage on serve. And we've seen this film before, to be honest, during this match. We've seen this before. Where Medvedev has got out of strife thanks to an error, whether forced or unforced, on either side of Alex de Minaur's body. And then Medvedev goes to the service line for the next serve and rips an ace out of nowhere. And he has served a total of 10 aces in this fourth set. And de Minaur's only managed one. He's only served 2 aces for the match. I'll just double check that. Yep, he's only served 2 aces. No, that can't be right. That's not for the set. What are you talking about? But it's disappeared. So Alex de Minaur has crumbled. I think it's an accurate description. And we'll just take you back to the full screen there. And we can all watch along as Alex de Minaur steps up to serve for the 7th game of the 4th set. He is trailing 1-5, 2 sets to 1 in this match, and he starts out with an error off the forehand of Medvedev to lose that point. De Minaur, he's now just playing for pride, and it's fair to say if you're a fan of Australian tennis, you're going to be hoping that the pride is also on our behalf, because we had a lot of high hopes going into the round of 16. Sunday night when we went to bed here in Australia, we had 2 blokes representing us in the round of 16, the 4th round men's singles. And Rinky Hijikata, well, you can forgive the wild card, ranked 110 in the world. Was no match, as it turned out, for Francis Tiafoe. No disgrace in his loss yesterday, as de Minaur pulls out a 40-love lead out of nowhere, because Medvedev is straining at the leash to... I'm sure that his losses this year to... the dual losses this year to de Minaur are fresh in his mind. He wants to rip the game off the serve of the Australian and break it to win the match, but it's just not happening. 2 backhand unforced errors in a row. De Minaur leading 40-love on serve, trailing 1-5 in the 4th. Lost the 3rd 1-6, lost the 2nd 4-6, won the first 6-2. And after we got through the 3/4 of the way through the 2nd set, it was, well, I didn't see this coming, but at the same time, yeah, you have these matches at this level. But yeah, as he wins that service game, thanks to 3 errors in a row, most of them unforced off the backhand from Medvedev, Alex de Minaur trails 2-5 in the 4th, and it's going to be a tough slog to save this match. and we'll mix it up a bit there on the screen there for you. It's a change of ends, I think, for these chaps. So we really appreciate you joining us for this match. We're not going to dip our head or have a bit of a sulk this Australian Open life. We're happy to see what was a good match up until about I'd say the second game of the third set, and Medvedev just switched into another gear in front of our eyes and ripped the match right away from Alex de Minaur. And it's a bit of a shame because he was looking to make a statement at this year's US Open. De Minaur, he was looking and he was not shy in saying it. He's a very quiet bloke, a very confident bloke, not prone to making outrageous statements. But he was asked, and he did say, I'm looking to raise my game a level. I'm looking to go into the top 10, and the US Open 2023 is the platform on which I aim to raise my game, and he's done that. But unfortunately, a fourth round. It's going to be a fourth round loss here after a semi-final. I'll just double check this actually. After a semi-final appearance last year, I'm just going to double check. I've got my facts straight. His titles and finals. No, that's titles. We don't want that. We want activity. So just yet, we'll go back to last year, the US Open. Where are we? US Open. Where are the? Oh, here we go. Grand Slams in 2022. If it'll just click through there for us. Last year at the US Open. Come on. It's not there. Why isn't it there? The US Open 2022 on his tour profile. Come on. Oh, I'll give up. We'll go back to the live score. You've got that there on screen. 30 love Medvedev. Sorry for getting slightly distracted there, as can happen sometimes. But it's all done and dusted, I'd say, at this point, as Daniil Medvedev charges into the home straight, leading now 40 love on serve. He has 3 match points, leading 5-2 in the fourth set. Another unforced error from Alex de Minaur. He has crumbled into a heap, and he's got prime time box office coverage on TV sets and screens all over America, but he has crumbled, and Medvedev has unpicked the lock of de Minaur's game, serving at 87 miles per hour. The second serve is successful. De Minaur, another, well, that just sums up his match. A forehand forced error, losing to love. It is a 4-set victory, very easy victory in the last 2 sets. Daniil Medvedev walking up to the net to shake hands with the Australian, who's going to be so disappointed the way this match closed out. But you've got to give credit to the better player on the day. 2 hours and 39 minutes in the end, after a fairly slow, cagey start to this match in the first set and the first couple of games for Alex de Minaur. He has gone down to the Russian 4th seed, Daniil Medvedev, and it is 2-6, 6-4, 6-1, 6-2 in the fourth. Alex de Minaur absolutely crumbled there. The way that he's gone down is not characteristic of his game. He's gone down fighting, but he's gone down fighting with one racket tied behind his back. The amount of unforced errors there, we'll just double check it for the match. The unforced errors, well, he's committed 36 unforced errors to Medvedev 32, but he's got cleaned up with total points won, 107 to 91. And Medvedev, I think his serve was where he's really claimed this victory. Percentage of first serves in, 65%. 81% of points won on those 65% first serves in, whereas Alex de Minaur, as we've said a little bit earlier, just recently, he doesn't serve at a pace or in a characteristic that strikes fear into the heart of his opponent. His percentage of first serves in, 55%, a fairly decent percentage of 69% of win percentage on his first serve, but there's it really is disappointing there, because he was fairly competitive, but the break points won, 50% for Medvedev, 33% for de Minaur, but he only had 6 break point opportunities for the whole match, so he needed more, and the receiving points won. Medvedev was eventually able to suss out the game of Alex de Minaur, and I'm sure the New York crowd would have been cheering and going bonkers because they like their tennis there in New York, and they would have given the Russian, even though he's Russian, they appreciate good tennis, and they would have been sorry to see that knowledgeable New York crowd. They'd be well aware of Alex de Minaur and how good a player he is. They would have been disappointed to see him basically wilt. And you can't really say he wilted in the New York heat, because it's 9:15 currently in New York and it's only 28 degrees. It's pretty humid, but Alex de Minaur lives in Spain, speaks fluent Spanish. He would have been able to handle the heat, but he just couldn't handle the pressure, unfortunately, today. So we're going to take a quick break, and we'll wrap things up fairly quickly when we come back. And don't go away. We'll be right back. Stories, and our story is tennis, and unfortunately our tennis story this morning has not been an happy one. Alex de Minaur going down in 4 sets, and it's fair to say, and it's accurate to say, that he crumbled, wilted, not because of the New York heat or the New York humidity. It was Daniil Medvedev, the 3rd seed, putting him to the sword over the last 2 sets. Alex de Minaur, I'm sure, I don't know what happened to his game, to be honest. I don't know that he was playing all that badly. He just seemed to, be not able to tread water, let alone forge ahead. So the bloke who was touted to surge into the top 10 this week after the US Open, Alex de Minaur, that's not going to happen. When the rankings are published and freshened up next week, once the men's and the women's champions have been confirmed and crowned and serenaded and photographed, and the champagne corks popped in on the red carpet in Broadway or Times Square or whatever. Maybe it'll be next to the Hudson River, I don't know, but it won't be Alex de Minaur smiling from ear to ear with a new top 10 ranking, unfortunately. And it's a bit disappointing. Both of the Australian blokes who got into the round of 16, fourth round men's singles. Both of them have had their they've had their pants pulled down. And Alex de Minaur, what was going on in those third and fourth sets? Can someone tell me how you can go from a 6-2 lead in the first set to crumble 4-6, 1-6, 2-6 over the next 3 sets? I don't know. I'm at a bit of a loss for words anyway. It was a great match. We love seeing Alex de Minaur compete, and we love seeing you join us on this Australian Open Live produced by Wise Words Media. We've been covering the US Open from Melbourne, Australia, where we're based, home of the Australian Open. I said home of the Australian Open. So that's it from us, and this time we mean it. We don't usually cover any matches in the second week of a Grand Slam. Our bread and butter is qualifying rounds, the first 2 days of any Grand Slam tournament. That's our bread and butter. But we couldn't help ourselves over the last couple of days, and we're glad we stuck around. But that's it for us. You won't be seeing us again during the US Open, and you won't be seeing us. The next time you're going to see us is come November or December, when qualifying starts for the Australian Open, and we'll be back in January 2024 with all qualifying rounds as best as we can, live on site, or getting footage for next year's Australian Open. And we'll be bringing you this new dynamic interactive content presentation, live match play, point-by-point tournament coverage, audio only, radio style coverage of qualifying matches the first 2 days of tournament play, because that's our bread and butter. Look out for our wildcard series, the Spotlight series, shining a spotlight on various players, and also the stats that matter, the player review, which includes serving stats, return stats, the hit-up, looking into the lead-up tournaments. That's what the hit-up is, the lead-up tournaments, the Australian Open 2024, and, of course, the player bio. Because at the elite level in Grand Slam tennis, we've said it before, we'll say it again, the margins are so very fine between all these players, no matter the ranking, because on their day, anyone can win. And we like to take a bit of a retro look into the careers of these players. This Australian Open Live, produced by Wise Words Media, we like to offer a window into the personalities and the characteristics and the mentality, the fighting mentality of these sportsmen and sportswomen. We love to watch, we love to be entertained by them, and we hope that you've been entertained by the tennis this year at the US Open. And we appreciate your company if you've been dropping in and out while we've been going, and we appreciate your feedback. Please join the conversation by subscribing, and make sure you like this live stream presentation. And that's where we're going to finish up for now. And that's about it for us. We're going to pull up stumps and head home, not with our tails between our legs. Come on. All hats off to Daniil Medvedev for what he did today, and we're sure that the tennis is going to be pretty good over the next few days as the US Open heads towards the weekend. And there's been a few upsets, really upset. Speaking of upsets, I'm really upset to see Ons Jabeur go out this morning in straight sets to the Chinese player, the 23rd seed. I've really got a lot of time for Ons Jabeur, because she's not just a great tennis player, she's a great human being, the Tunisian, and we need more like her all over the place. But anyway, that's about it from us. You've been listening to me. I am the bloke who walks, and presenting this Australian Open Live, which is produced by Wise Words Media in Melbourne, Australia, the home of the Australian Open. We really appreciate your company over the last week and a half or so, and we hope you enjoy all that content's there for you to enjoy over the next few months. and we'll be coming back with more content at the Australian Open, but there'll also be lots of other content coming out, news bites content about players, tournaments, all sorts of information. But let us know, give us the feedback, give us a subscription. That's the least you can do. Come on, it won't hurt a bit. So thanks for listening, thanks for watching, and bye for now.